guys, good day and welcome to our new lesson. So for today, we are going to talk about a T account. So T account is one of the basic tools we use in accounting pero napaka-importante talaga ng T account. No? So napakarami niyang use at the same time para siyang pinaka-shortcut when it comes to solving problems not only in basic accounting pero hanggang sa higher accounting guys, ginagamit natin talaga sa T account. So it is very important to know what is T account all about. And syempre when we talk about T accounts, pag-uusapan din natin yung mga rules of debit and credit na tinatawag natin. So napaka-importante na malaman natin what are the normal balance of each account, debit ba yan or credit. For today, we are going to discuss this thing and hopefully maliwanagan tayo after this discussion. Okay, so going back to our previous lesson, we talk about the accounting equation wherein we have the asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. Asset, we discussed that it is the financial resources owned by a business wherein liabilities are the financial obligations or debts. Ito yung mga kautangan natin. And last, the owner's equity, these are the owner's claim or yung mismong investment ng ating mga owner sa business nila. For today, we will not go further for this accounting equation kasi natakil na natin yan during our previous lesson. Okay, let's just have a example, no, applying the accounting equation. So we have here a scenario for number 1. Sabi niya, supply the missing amounts to satisfy the basic accounting equation. For number 1, we have asset as given 200,000. We also have the liability 70,000 and owner's equity is missing. Applying the accounting equation, we have asset is equals to liability plus owner's equity. Asset 200,000 and liability 70,000 and the missing is the owner's equity. To solve for the owner's equity, we simply deduct the liability to the amount of the asset. So 200,000 less 70,000, we have a 130,000 and that is the amount already of our owner's equity. Okay. For our second situation, this time the asset is missing. We have the liability 40,000 and owner's equity 120,000 pesos. Applying the givens, asset question mark, liabilities 40,000 and 120,000 for the owner's equity. Applying the accounting equation, we simply add the two. 40,000 plus 120 is equals to 160,000 and that is the amount of asset. And for our last example, this time we have the asset worth 1.4 million. Liability is unknown. Owner's equity, we have 1.1 million. Applying again the accounting equation, we have asset 1.4 is equals to question mark for liabilities plus 1.1 million for owner's equity. So to get the liability, we simply deduct the owner's equity to the asset. We have 1.4 less 1.1 is equals to 300,000 pesos and that is the amount of liability. So hopefully this one is already clear for you, no? If ever na meron kayong mga question about the accounting equation, you can go back and review or watch again our previous lesson, the 5 major accounts. Okay, going back to our accounting equation wherein we have the assets is equals to liability plus capital. Under capital guys, we still have 3 accounts kasi na nagkakaroon ng effect sa capital kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng ganito. Ano ba yung mga tinutukoy ko? Number 1 is income. So when we gain income, earnings to, di ba? Ibig sabihin, kapag nagkaroon tayo ng income, nagkakaroon ng changes sa capital natin. So anong nangyayari sa capital natin? Dahil income yan, dadagdagan yung capital natin. Positive siya when it comes to capital. Another thing na pinag-uusapan natin or tinutukoy ko is the expense. Siyempre, pag nagkakaroon tayo ng mga cost, may mga gastos tayo, nagkakaroon din siya ng effect sa capital natin. And syempre, kung kanina yung income nag-gain siya or nag-increase, this time, yung capital natin nagdi-decrease kasi ito yung mga bayarin na pinag-uusapan natin. And the last one is drawing. So, syempre, pag nagkakaroon tayo ng drawing, guys, nababawasan yung capital ng ating business kasi gumagamit tayo or kumukuha tayo ng pera from the company for the sake of our personal use. Adding these three to our existing accounting equation, ito yung mangyayari sa ating accounting equation ngayon. We have asset is equals to liability plus capital plus income kasi nadagdagan yung capital natin pag nagkaroon tayo ng income, no? So, deduction or negative expense and negative drawing kasi nababawasan yung capital natin dyan. So this time, nagkaroon tayo ng tinatawag natin extended accounting equation. Kaya lang, when it comes to equation, especially in math, no, ayaw nating nakikita yung mga negative sign. So we need to eliminate all that negative sign para maging addition lahat sira or positive sign. Okay, so paano ba natin gagawin yon? So, to do that, we simply move those with negative sign, kumbaga, palalampasin natin or lilipat sila sa equal sign para maging positive sila. So, in this case, ililipat lang natin sa expense and drawing, magiging kasama siya ni na asset and ang matitira na lang sa right side will be liability, capital, and income. Ito yung magiging itsura ngayon ng ating expanded accounting equation na tinatawag natin. We eliminate all the negative sign. Ang natira na lang ngayon ay mga positive sign na lang. Ito na yung pinakabago nating expanded accounting equation. So we have assets plus drawing plus expense is equals to liability plus income plus capital. In this accounting equation, guys, pwede na tayong gumawa ngayon ng tinatawag nating the T accounts. Okay, so we're in the left side represent the debit and then the right side represent the credit. So kung ma-observe natin, we have 3 accounts under the left side and then another 3 accounts under the credit. Debit representing asset, drawing, and expense. And then the other part, liabilities, income, and capital for the credit side naman. Di ba? Ano bang ibig sabihin nun? So, ibig sabihin nun, the normal balance of the asset, drawing, and expense is debit. Kapag sinabi nating normal balance, guys, it is the increasing side. Ibig sabihin, kapag nadagdagan si asset, kapag nadagdagan si drawing, kapag nadagdagan si expense, dinidebit natin sila. Okay, take note of that. The normal balance of asset, drawing, expense is debit. When we say normal balance, it is the increasing side. Okay? And then the other 3 naman, from the credit side, we have liability, income, and capital. Yung normal balance nila or increasing side is credit. Ibig sabihin, kapag nadagdagan yung liability natin, nadagdagan yung income or capital, kine-credit natin sila. Hindi gustong sabihin ng debit na puro positive. Hindi ibig sabihin ng credit puro negative. Hindi. Okay? So, same lang yan. Hindi sila, is opposite lang sila when it comes to the, what we call this, the position. Side si debit and then the right side si credit. Pero hindi sila opposite when it comes to meaning. Okay? So, take note of that. So, the normal balance of asset, drawing, expense is debit. And then the normal balance of liability, income, capital is credit. Normal balance or increasing side. And then vice versa naman, guys, kapag nag-decrease sila. So in this case, kung ang normal balance or increasing side ni liability is credit, kapag nabawasan naman si liability, i-debit natin. And then vice versa naman, kapag nabawasan naman si liability, income, or capital, de-debit naman natin sila. So, take note Same thing naman sa mga debit side. Siyempre, si asset, drawing, and expense, kapag nabawasan yan, i-credit natin yan. Okay? So, malinaw tayo dyan, So, So, asset, drawing, expense, nag-decrease, credit. Kapag nag-increase, normal balance tayo, debit. When it comes to liability, income, and capital naman, normal balance or increasing, nagtaas, okay? Nagkaroon tayo, okay? Ika-credit natin. Pero kapag nabawasan, i-debit natin. Okay? So, ayan yung kanilang normal balance or increasing side and the opposite side. So, we have here an acronym. Actually, ang daming acronym when it comes to accounting, no? Pero I find this more simpler and parang mas madali siyang kabisaduhin and ma-memorize, no? Ang dami, yung iba gumagamit pa ng kamay. Pero we will just use this kasi mas madali siya. So, the word ADELIC. Okay, so take note of the word ADELIC, wherein the first three letter A, D, and E represent asset, drawing, and expense. So, ibig sabihin, yung first three letters na yon, we debit them. And then, yung LIC, the last three letters, LIC, liability, income, and capital. So, we credit naman yung tatlong yon. So, hopefully, makatulong sa inyo to para hindi kayo malito what are the normal balance of each account. Kasi napaka-importante, nakabisado nyo kung ano yung normal balance ng bawat account. Kasi yun yung pinaka-makakatulong sa inyo to create your financial statements. So, this time, let's try to identify the normal balance of each account. So, tingnan ko kung medyo naliwanagan kayo sa discussion natin about sa T account, no? So, identify lang natin if the normal balance is debit or credit. Okay? So, number one, what is the normal balance of asset? Okay, so the normal balance of asset is debit. ADELIC, so the first letter A, ADELIC, so normal balance niya is debit. How about liability? Okay, the liability, the normal balance is credit. Owner's equity. Okay, so the normal balance of owner's equity is credit. Owner's equity or capital. Take note ha, baka malito kayo doon. Owner's equity or capital, same lang yan. Next natin, expense. Okay, so the normal balance of expense is debit. Again, ADELIC, no? ADE. Third letter. How about this one? Income. Okay, so income is credit. Take note ha. Hopefully, nakakasunod tayo lahat. How about cash? Okay, so knowing cash is an example of asset. So yung normal balance ng cash is debit. Accounts payable. So, accounts payable is an example of liability. So, yung normal balance na accounts payable is credit. Revenue. Okay. So, revenue is a synonym for income or another word for income. So, ibig sabihin, ang normal balance ng revenue is credit. Okay, land. So, again, land is another example of asset. So, yung normal balance ng land is debit. Professional fees. So, these are income. So, ibig sabihin, income, credit ang normal balance ng professional fees. Capital. Capital is another term for owner's equity. That's why capital is under credit side. How about notes payable? Notes payable is another example of liability. Liability, credit side tayo. Merchandise inventory. Merchandise inventory are asset. Dapat ang normal balance niyan is debit. Utilities expense. So, expenses yan. So, yan ay under debit. Drawing. Drawing under ADELIC. Nasa second letter yan. Letter D. Drawing. So, debit side ang normal balance ng drawing. Prepaid expense. Prepaid expense is not expense, di ba? So, yan ay prepayment. So, ibig sabihin yan ay asset. Asset natin ay debit side. Okay, so hopefully nakuha natin lahat, no? It is very important to know the normal balance of each account. So, kailangan na lang natin yan practice para talagang makabisado natin yung mga normal balance na yan. And hopefully, makatulong sa atin yung ating acronyms na ADELIC. So, this time naman, let us try to have an example of a business transaction, and then i-apply natin yung T account talaga. So invested cash 10,000 pesos to start a business. Okay, so by identifying this business transaction, parang magi-start pa lang siya ng business, di ba? And then nag-contribute siya ng 10,000 pesos para may start niya yung business niya. I-analyze natin dito kung ano yung mga accounts na involved. So syempre, number 1, involved si cash dyan. Kasi nag-contribute siya ng cash sa business. And another thing, sino ba yung nag-contribute dyan? Siyempre, yung owner natin. That's why, kasama din si capital or the owner's equity. Siyempre, ang first thing na gagawin natin dyan, dahil gumagawa tayo ng T account, so gagawa tayo ng T accounts. Yung first thing natin, pangangalanganin natin yan as cash. Kasi involved si cash, di ba? And the second one, dahil involved din si owner's equity, gagawin din natin yan as owner's equity. So let us analyze. Sabi niya, invested cash 10,000. So kung nag-invest ng 10,000 sa capital or sa business natin, ibig sabihin, nadagdagan yung pera ng business. Tama? Kung nadagdagan yung pera ng business, nadagdagan yung cash natin. And kung i-identify natin to record that, kailangan increasing side, the normal balance, dun ko siya ilalagay. And knowing that cash is asset, kailangan i-record ko yung nadagdag na pera sa debit side. So that's why we record 10,000 from the debit side of cash. Hopefully that is clear, no? Sana nagets natin yan bakit tayo naglagay ng 10,000 sa cash. And then another thing, sino ba yung nagbigay ng pera? Kanino ba galing ang pera? Siyempre sa owner. So it will be credited to the owner, no? Ibig sabihin, nadagdagan yung investment ni owner. Siyempre, i-analyze natin, nadagdagan. So ibig sabihin, increasing side. So what is the increasing side or the normal balance of the owner's equity? Diba? So that is credit. So ibig sabihin, we need to put 10,000 to the owner's equity para makredit yung investment ng ating investor. Okay, so yan, nagkaroon tayo ng 10,000. That will be the entry for our first transaction. So kung i-analyze natin guys, tignan nyo, nag-debit tayo ng cash worth 10,000 and then nag-credit tayo ng worth 10,000 sa owner's equity. Take note, make sure that every transaction dapat balanse, bangga, kung ilan yung amount na dinebit nyo sa amount na kinredit nyo. So in this case, tignan nyo, nag-debit tayo ng worth 10,000 and then nag-credit din tayo ng worth 10,000. So ibig sabihin, bangga. Okay? Pareho yung dinebit natin sa kinredit natin. Yun yung tinatawag natin, dapat balance siya lagi. Okay, so let's proceed to our next transaction. So this time, purchase office supplies for 2,000 and paid cash. So i-analyze natin, 2,000 yung amount. Sabi niya, bumili daw tayo ng office supplies and then nagbayad tayo ng 2,000. So kung nagbayad tayo ng 2,000, again, involved na naman si cash. And sino pa yung involved na account dito? Siyempre, yung binili natin, the office supplies. So we already have the T account for cash. So no need to create another T account. Take note, isang T account lang per account ang ginagamit natin. So in this case, si office supplies na lang yung wala natin. So siya na lang ang gagawin natin ng T account. So siyempre, ayan, office supplies, meron na tayong T account for that. Tingnan natin, sabi niya, bumili tayo. So kung bumili tayo, naka-acquire tayo ng office supplies. Ibig sabihin, nadagdagan yung office supplies natin worth 2,000 pesos. So kung nadagdagan yung office supplies natin, kailangan natin siyang i-record sa increasing balance niya or sa normal side. Knowing that office supplies is an example of asset again, so kailangan natin siyang i-debit. Tama? Okay, so nag-debit tayo ng worth 2,000 sa office supplies. And then ano pa yung isang dyan, involved? Sabi niya, nagbayad daw tayo ng 2,000 pesos. So kung i-analyze natin, nabawasan yung pera natin kasi nagbayad tayo, di ba? If the normal balance of cash is debit, increasing side yun, So, dapat sa opposite tayo kasi nabawasan, tama? This time, magre-record tayo ng worth 2,000 sa cash, pero this time, sa credit kasi nabawasan. Hopefully, nakakasunod tayo, no? Sana nagiging clear yung mga transaction natin. So, this will be the last transaction for this video natin. Okay, yan. Borrowed money from BPI worth 20,000 pesos. Borrowed money. Siyempre, parang nag-loan tayo sa bangko, di ba? Numiram tayo ng pera sa bangko. So, nung humiram tayo ng pera sa bangko, siyempre, anong mangyayari dyan? Madadagdagan yung pera natin. Ibig sabihin, involved na naman si cash. We already have the T account for cash, so no need to create another account or T account for that cash. So ano ba yung involved na wala pa tayo dyan? Kung nanghiram tayo, ibig sabihin nagkautang tayo. Meron tayong payable. Ang question dito, anong gagawin natin? Accounts, notes, or promissory? Kung i-identify natin dahil pera ang inutang natin, ang gagamitin natin is loans payable. Okay, so we need to create a T account for a loans payable. So let's check. Borrowed money, humiram tayo ng pera. So nung humiram tayo ng pera, syempre, ibibigay yung pera sa atin ni BPI, tama? So nung binigay sa atin yung pera ni BPI, ibig sabihin, nadagdagan yung pera natin. And again, nadagdagan yung pera natin, i-record natin si cash sa normal balance, and that is for debit side. 20,000 pesos. And syempre, nung binigay sa atin yon, dahil nag-loan tayo, nagkaroon tayo ng utang. Nadagdagan ang utang natin. So, we need to record loan payable to each normal side or increasing side, which is credit. Okay, very good. So, ayan, tignan nyo. Yung loan natin ngayon, meron ng 20,000 and cash. Tignan nyo yung cash natin, no? Meron na siyang 3 transaction. Kung i-analyze natin and i-observe natin in every transaction, talagang bangga. Kung magkano yung dinebit natin, ganun din yung kinredit natin. That is very important. Kasi kapag hindi bangga yung dinebit mo sa kinredit mo, automatic for sure, mali ang ginawa nyo. So, every transaction, take note, dapat laging bangga yan. So, kung i-analyze natin, tignan nyo, ito total natin lahat na dinebit natin. For cash, we have 10 plus 20, 30. And then, another debit for office supplies of 2. So, total na dinebit natin, 32. And, same thing, yung total na kinredit natin is 32 din. 2,000 for cash, 10,000 for owner's equity, and 20,000 for loans payable. So, the total debit is 32,000 and then the total credit is 32,000. It is very important, guys, that every transaction talaga, bangga ang nire-record natin. And take note, never mangyayari na sa isang transaction, isang account lang uninvolved. Hindi mangyayari yun. Okay? So, yung minimum na involved na mga accounts when it comes to business transaction, minimum yon 2. 2 or more ang pwedeng maging involved. Pero never na magiging isa lang ang involved when it comes to business transaction. Okay? So, hopefully, naging clear yung discussion natin for the T accounts and the rule of debit and credit. Okay, so we will end this discussion here, and after this, hintayin nyo na lang yung gagawin kong video for solving a simple problem involving T accounts. Gagawin natin yon hanggang trial balance. So, hindi ko na sinama dito kasi masyadong haba yung lesson natin. That's it for today. Keep safe and good day, guys.